freak accidents can cause a lot of people to go homeless, like injury or being a veteran from war or anything really. I have had people who have become homeless because of their children passing away and a lot of medical bills and things like that.
I would say that, how someone is brought up, the childhood, where they grow up when they're little, has a lot to do with their success in the future. If, for instance, a child grows up in an environment where there's a lot of violence, drugs, stuff like that, it will contribute negatively towards their future, which can ultimately cause addiction, can cause not great education, and ultimately cause homelessness.
Okay, there are a lot of different. If I did a study on it, partial study on it, there are a lot of factors that leads to homelessness. For example, Hurricane Katrina left a lot of people homeless. Wants and desires. Some people, they got money or they get money, but it's not enough for them to sustain their habits or addictions. And then some people willfully just want to be homeless. So there's a lot of different reasons for why a person becomes homeless. But it's I guess it's how to fix or remedy that is the real problem that the government or the state is seeming to have throughout the nation is how to fix the problem with people wanting to have this habit or having a habit that they can't kick as easily and still. Alrighty, how y'all doing? Did y'all like a voice today? Alright, have a great day. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To still maintain a stable economy.
But there's several things. Sometimes a person could lose their job, which causes them to lose their house as well. And also a person could go homeless just by a bank like the 20s when a place shut down, a business shut down, or a community just goes bad. Several things could go wrong, or a person quits their job and they could go homeless like that.
I think, from what I've seen down here, there's a lot of mentally ill. There's a lot of younger kids who don't like authority, so they leave their houses without a job and stuff like that. They just want to be outside. Drugs and alcohol, I think, are two of the other issues. Those, I think, are the main reason why we have homelessness.
I think there are social factors. I mean, there may be problems at home. It could be addiction. Depends on the type of individuals that are homeless, if they're younger versus older. Mental instability, behavioral problems, stuff like that.
Like he said, that it's the familiarity. At first glance, alrighty, have a great day. Would you like a voice today? Okay, have a great one. I hate dropping these.
It's funny, we was just having this conversation.
The way it usually works is a familiarity. If a group of people know you, it doesn't matter. Alrighty, have a good one. It doesn't matter how you dress. But at first glance, when you first encounter a person's appearance or whatever, you kind of tend to judge a book by its cover and assume that they are a certain way until you get to know them. And then after you get to know them, their dress code doesn't really, weigh up on you so much. But again, to be a little more frank, if you dress a certain way, then you tend to assume, because this person is dressed that way, that he has the same or she has the same, whatever. But let's flip that on the other side. If I was standing here and stuff you couldn't afford, would you be willing to give to me, knowing that you can't even afford what I have?
Well, I think we have an expectation that people are able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and have the same opportunities as everybody else, but that's not true. I think that's false. I think there are institutions set up that favor one part of the population and provide barriers to another. So in a lot of cases, individuals that are homeless do so because they have a lot of stuff stacked up against them, including felony records. So when they're imprisoned, if they're people of color, then it just increases the possibility that that's the case. That when they come out, they're not able to provide for their family. In essence, they end up either being kicked out and homeless or falling into some sort of drug addiction patterns, alcoholism, gambling, those type of things. So I think the prejudices are that we assume that everybody has the same equal opportunity. I think that if they're young or old, we base that as another type of prejudice, that if they're young, then they should be fine, they should be able to get a job. If they're too old, then it's something that we should see and not, we shouldn't have to see, that there should be something set up in place and they just disappear. I think those are just a couple.
Yeah, I won't give anything to people who aren't lazy, who don't try to help themselves. Why should I help them if they can't help themselves and not worry about themselves?
I think a lot of people think homeless people are drug addicts. I know that's a prejudice that I have, or that they don't have the time to apply for a job, but they have the time to sit on the corner. I think that's a prejudice that I know I've always had in my life, and I don't know why. It's just the fact that I don't live that way, and yet someone else does, and I don't understand it.
We shouldn't treat them like trash because not all homeless people are that way.
So laws currently right now in Colorado consist of laws that they can't sleep in public, they have to be moving in a certain way, or else they will be contacted by police and they're forced to move somewhere else where they will just do the same thing over and over again. I think that for the purpose of businesses and the purpose of profit, I think that private businesses can have the right to do what they want to do, have the right to adopt what they want to do, especially if it's a deterrent to their business. And so in that way, I would say it is justified.
Did y'all get a voice already? Y'all need to get a voice, because that's what this is talking about. That's exactly what this is talking about.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Is it $2?
Yes, just donation $2.
I'll do that.
When Denver first started, the miners and the people who came here, they had already have a great one, a period of homelessness. And even now, they have certain laws that are being taken off the books that were on the books and whatnot that dealt with, not being able to camp or sleep out in the public and that sort of thing. Whereas to, where do you go when you don't have nowhere to go? Why should, alrighty, have a great day. Why should laws be placed upon, something that can't be fixed?
Wow, they have laws like that?
Yeah.
They have them in Aurora, they have them in Nevada, and they're doing these things like, pretty much saying like, hey, you can't be on our property, and like that's kind of messed up. And like we want to know how can we stop this problem so it doesn't get to that point?
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have a shelter?
First of all, they were trying to close one of the shelters here not too long ago, and some of the Christian businesses stood up for that shelter to keep it from closing, and I was all for that, but I wasn't down here when that happened, and I would have, if I knew about it, I would have been to stand up for it as well, because we need more places like that to help the homeless people, because people cannot help it if a business closes and they lose their job, because there's a lot of good people out there that didn't want to go homeless, and not all homeless people want to be homeless. Some of them do, but not all of them.
Oh yeah, I do, and the reason is I live in this building right here. And at night there are homeless people in the alley, fighting, screaming, doing drugs, getting high, all that stuff, and I don't want to listen to that in my alley. So, you know, my window's right above the alley and I can hear it. It's a nuisance. I also think it gives a bad reputation when people from other cities come down here and see homeless people. They think, well, Denver doesn't help their citizens. You know, I think that's how it looks.
I don't think I would have a preference. I think that if an individual is homeless and they're dressed up, then, I mean, it doesn't mean that their need is any less than someone who's trying to be funny or trying to be humorous or comical. I think that they play to their audience, and I think people, they tend to be a little bit more lighthearted if it's something that's, you know, makes you laugh, or pay me $1 and I'll tell you a stupid joke or something like that. Also, the location makes a difference. So I think here people play on an individual's maybe sympathy when they have family on the corner or when they have their kids around them, versus in Boulder at the campus or any of the campuses where it's more like they're kind of playing towards a younger, I don't want to say audience, but a community. And so they'll, you know, if they say something like, need some weed or whatever, need a drink, then the college students are more likely to be like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, you know. So I think it just kind of depends on location, honestly.
I think it kind of goes against your own judge of like moral and valuable people. I mean, if someone is asking me for money, then that's one thing. But if someone asks for food or to do work in order to earn that, I think that's different. I don't necessarily. A thief is one thing, but someone who just genuinely doesn't have anything is another.
I think, well, part of it, they do need to help themselves. There are programs for people who don't have jobs, for people who are mentally ill or are handicapped or that. There's money out there for them. It's just going to get it. And they'll find a way to do it. They just need to learn how to go out and get it. Things don't come easily to you. You know, whether you work or whether you don't, you got to earn what you get. People who work, they earn their money. If you're homeless, you got to go out and earn your home or earn your job. It's not just, things aren't just handed out to you. That's just not the way the world works.
Just the way things are. Children being shot, killed by bad who they feel. That's 12-year-old threats in their life. So if you're there, then pick me up. I wouldn't walk with no such luck. I guess that I'm gonna have to stay. But I'll make the most of my day.
If we're going to help the homeless, we're going to have to help them to a better cause, not to a worse cause. If we want them off the street, we're going to have to help them to a better cause, right?
Right.
Why make the cause worse? We need to make it better. If we need to get the homeless off the street, we need to make it better, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How do you feel we can make the cause better? What do you think we can do?
Well, we need more shelter, for one thing, and we need to take the alcohol and drugs away from them. But we need to do it the right way and not the wrong way.
I don't think that we should treat them any less than we treat other people. I don't think it's justified just because they're homeless, just because they're indigent, that they're any less human than, like I said before, people who have houses of ownership. But I can see how it's easy to get carried away. Maybe we don't agree with drugs, we don't agree with alcohol, we don't agree with sex offenders and stuff like that. I think it's worthwhile to consider what they've gone through before we make our decision. But at the same time, when we look at them out of our cars and on the sidewalk, we really don't know their story, so there's no reason for us to judge them.
Dress codes are, like you said, what define us when people first encounter us. Now, imagine a person that's homeless was in an Armani suit, Stacey Adams shoes, and I believe that if that homeless person was to reach out and try to do whatever he's trying to do to get out of homelessness, he would be more successful because he'll be more approachable. It would be whoever's trying to listen would listen. You know what I mean? You smell good, definitely you don't got a problem. You smell better, right?
They do, because if they're out here drinking and doing dope and that, they're not going to give it to them. or if their clothes are really ragged and stuff like that, they're not gonna give them any money if they see them drinking or anything. Just by the way they're dressed
Do you think that's fair?
or the way they smell. Well,
Yes.
because they figure if they're going to give them the money for alcohol, they're just going to use it for drinking. But myself, I'll take them to a place to have something to eat or drink or some coffee and like that to drink. Then I know it's going to go for a good cause.
Okay.
Because if they're just going to waste it on alcohol and that, then it's not going to help them any. It should go to help them for a good cause, not for a bad cause.
Yeah. Stay happy.
You get to be happy.
That's right.
That's right.